Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Talk Junkies, where tonight's going to be a very interesting night, as it is each and every single night here at the Talk Junkies basement, where we are not live, but one day we will be. In my dreams, maybe first we will go live, but here we are right now, not live at all, because I have to buy a mini recorder, I think is what I need to buy. But anyways, we got Johnny, Jesse in the house. How you doing, gentlemen?
Gravy.
Better now I'm here.
Hell yeah. Carl, baby.
What's
Daddy.
what it do?
Baby boo. Here we are. Check out last time. 2 weeks ago we had a great podcast. We had Paul Enslaved on. He has a YouTube channel. Great guy. Really great podcast. About an hour and 15 minutes. I highly recommend you guys check it out. It's on our channel. He also posted on his channel. Paul, thanks for coming on, man. I know we do have some new subscribers from Paul uploading that video. So thank you guys for joining the Talk Junkies community. And I hope you guys like our content. I hope you enjoy it. And we don't have a guest on tonight. We were going to have Wolflo on. Sorry, my man, didn't work out. I know you got
Still going to have you on in the future.
Oh,
Just
yeah.
weren't able to tonight because of timing.
It's my fault. My fault.
Yeah, no, he said just whenever, man. He said just hit him up and we'll make it happen. It's just got to be a little bit earlier, which is fine, man. But it'll happen. He might be Jesse's biggest. Like, he might like Jesse more than he likes you and I. Who knows? So we're gonna have to wait to have him on.
Probably. Most people do.
Yeah, I know.
Fuck off.
But anywho, tonight we can talk about a lot of different stuff. I think this is probably the last time you guys will see Jesse for a while. Again, we've said it multiple times throughout the past few weeks. He's got a big, life-changing moment about to.
Yeah, that's coming up quick too, right?
It is
Real
Not to
quick.
freak you out, but
No, this is kind of like this is like my last. This is for sure like my last, like big hangout before I really knuckle down, and then everything is now this just like ticking clock of when is this going to happen? When do I need to make these?
Jesse's
moves
about to
kinda
have
thing.
a kiddo. If y'all are new,
Yeah. So
I'm doing a minor role in bringing a life into the world, very minuscule. I got a bunch of beef jerky and Sour Patch Kids and stuff in a bag,
you're gonna be good to go.
so that whenever my better half is having the kid, I can feed her after that whole thing. That's basically I'm providing snacks and moral support. So
sugar-free snacks, man.
oh, she wants sugar. She definitely wants Subway too. She's very specific on getting a spicy
Subway.
Italian.
Oh yeah, because she can't have like deli meat or whatever,
yeah,
right?
so she's about to. So I have the order memorized. It's going to be a foot-long spicy Italian
Oh, I heard about a
On-
story about this.
on the herbs, the Italian herbs and cheese bread with lettuce, pickles, black olives, mayo, Parmesan cheese, salt, and pepper. Like pretty much as soon as I can leave
Toasted
the hospital.
toasted or not toasted?
Fuck, I don't have it memorized. Thanks.
Oh.
Good looking out, Paul. Good looking out.
I used
Because
to
I didn't
work-
want to. I
I
didn't want
worked
to mess
there.
it up.
I worked there for
I
3
didn't-
years.
I didn't
man.
even think about that.
Yeah.
I think she gets it heated.
So toasted.
I don't think she.
That's how I do mine.
No, there's a difference.
Microwave,
Microwave,
not
yeah.
toasted. So everything melts, but the bread's still soft.
No,
Yeah.
it's gonna be crunchy.
Nah, fuck all that. Nobody wants crunchy bread.
Burn that motherfucker.
Yep. But anyway, Jesse, we obviously wish the best for you, man.
Paul,
Thank
your
you.
Google Drive's coming up. That's not going to affect anything, right?
No,
that's just there
definitely
for show.
Yeah. So yeah, we'll rock it out, man. Johnny and I and Carl will come when he can, and then we'll try and have some good guests on. But yeah, tonight we're going to talk about. I'd kind of like to first get into just this Ukraine $40 billion package, right? Because I don't know what your guys' thoughts are on it, but we have this baby formula shortage that's going on throughout the United States. You see Psaki on saying that the reason that there's this shortage is because people are hoarding the baby formula, and then I don't know. We can give $40 billion to Ukraine to support the war in Ukraine. You've had a senator or a representative on the Democratic side that says that the United States is in war with Russia multiple times through proxy, through Ukraine. We're in war with Russia, I guess, essentially. But we can send $40 billion to Ukraine right now. I don't know if it's passed. I'm pretty sure like they just pushed it through or whatever.
I feel like I heard about this like a week ago. I don't know the.
And we have so many other things going on, and baby formula of all things. If there's a shortage, that's something we should tackle first.
Before we get on Ukraine, can I just touch on that real quick at the fact that what is up with like, I understand like, what do you call them? Doomsdayers. That's completely like, man, the occasional doomsdayer I'm fine with, but just the general public starting to hoard stuff. The same thing with toilet paper at the beginning of COVID. I don't understand that. Like, where did that all come from? There was never a part of me that watched the news or saw anything and was like, oh my God, I need to go buy toilet paper now. All of a sudden, I just show up to my grocery store and everything's empty. And then I look it up like, what the fuck is going on? And
Mainstream media.
I don't get it. I don't get it.
You roll up to the store and need baby formula?
What?
You said you roll up to the store. It's a joke. You said you roll up to the store, you're like, shit's missing. You're like, then you look it up. Like,
What
do you
else
need
is he
baby
gonna mix with
formula?
his fucking gin?
Yeah.
Well, it's like, what the fuck?
Jesus Christ, you not on that baby formula in gin?
No.
So there was a plant in the United States that
I
actually.
thought I said toilet paper.
You did.
Okay.
But well, we've been talking about baby formula
got
too.
you.
But you would never go to the store and look for baby formula. So it's just one of those things. Like, even if people are hoarding it, I mean, I don't know. It'd have to be at a very crazy,
Amount.
yeah. And like with toilet paper, people were price gouging, trying to sell it online and make a profit.
I just don't.
There hasn't been any
I've never understood the logic there.
There hasn't been any evidence of people trying to price gouge on like eBay or anything like that. They're selling it for the same price as you would get it at the store, but like $1 more, I think. But
That's price gouging.
$1.
That's still price
sure,
gouging.
still
Sure,
price
sure,
gouging.
sure, sure. That's fine.
Necessity. You can purchase,
Especially when it's something that is a necessity like that. Sorry,
But
go
it's
ahead.
$1.
Yeah,
I'm not going to consider that price gouging. You can say it, but it's $1 more.
Not if you buy in enough bulk, and then you go, all I have to do is jack up $1, and the next thing you know, he's making fucking $10,000.
That's still the definition of
in a
price
weekend.
gouging.
Yeah.
If they have 10,000 whatever it is of baby formula, baby, and you're right. Maybe
It should
it's
be
true.
Everybody agrees that all of a sudden a store during like a hurricane jacks up their fucking price of bottled water up 20%. You're a fucking piece of shit because you're taking advantage of a scenario.
Yeah.
Like that's what the necessity is. Like honestly, the PlayStation shit, that's another example, but it's not a necessity.
That's just like scalping,
Yeah,
which is
you're
still shit,
scalping-
but that's
Yeah.
nowhere near as bad as
What is, I don't know if that's even technically illegal.
what?
Like to price gouge during shit. There probably
Like scalping
is.
or whatever?
No, like bottled water. Like what I was saying. If there's
Oh,
a
I don't know.
hurricane,
I'm pretty sure it is.
I thought it is.
Yeah, it gets shut down real quick when people try to
Yeah.
do shit like
that should be illegal as fuck.
They're doing it with gas right now.
Yeah, no shit. And
Man,
we
the
can
whole
talk about
gas
that
thing
next.
doesn't
I want to go
fucking
into
make
that
any
too.
sense. That doesn't. It's never made any
But
sense.
hold on, but let's just finish this real quick though. There's a plant that shut down, a baby formula plant that shut down in the United States due to 4 babies had a bacterial infection or some type of sickness that involved bacteria. 2 of the babies died, I believe, and then 2 survived or whatever. So they shut the plant down entirely. Well, then the FDA did a sweep of the plant, and they didn't find any of the bacteria in any of the formula, and the plant is still shut down right now, even though that's not the source of the bacteria. So it makes you wonder. And I watched this YouTube channel, and it's Really Graceful, I think is what it's called. And maybe her name is Grace, and she did a really good job of describing what's going on. But you'd have to. I'll put a link in below to that video. But she was essentially saying that I'm gonna botch this, man. I don't want to fuck it up. It's like a 10-minute video. But she was saying that the government is actually, if you call this certain number and you really truly need formula, allegedly, and again, I'm probably doing a horrible job of explaining this. It's like the formula that has the bacteria in it. That's what the government's giving to people. I don't know how. And again, I'm probably not saying it right. You'd have to watch her video. I should have watched.
You're
it
saying
before
that
I
like
did
the
this.
government handout version of whatever
Could
is the one that
possibly-
has the bacteria.
Is the
Correct, yes.
contaminated
While
ones.
the plant's still shut down, and there was no trace of the bacteria in that plant, and they're not operating.
I
Right
haven't
now.
heard anything about it, so I have no.
Yeah.
I also read something that 90% of all baby formula in the entire world is basically owned under like umbrella style. Like obviously,
Like
there's
one big
different-
company?
It's like one big company that owns realistically like 90% of all the baby formula. And they were
It's just
talking
like-
about also
it's just
this
like
monopoly.
literally everything else.
Yeah, well, I get it, but they were also talking about how that monopoly is an issue too, that it needs to be spread out because it could be something within that's causing that issue. But I don't know. That's just man, that's super.
But you have this issue, and so it's like the biggest question to me is like, why is it so important to give Ukraine $40 billion when we have issues like this at home, and that's just one issue of many.
Those,
I mean,
those
we
are
can-
private companies.
Like the baby formula, but the government
Yeah.
can step in, like baby's got to eat type of thing. You know what I'm saying? 'Cause not
Yeah, but
everyone
people also
breastfeeds.
need to not get like mass murdered and war and stuff too.
You shouldn't
I don't
be
know. The
upset-
Ukraine one's weird.
You
As
should
far as
never-
like your views on the whole not giving them 40 billion, like I don't think that's a bad thing.
No, this is my whole thing. You shouldn't be upset at the Ukraine getting a $40 billion relief package. You should be upset at your government not helping out with everything else because clearly they have reserve money.
Yeah, they've got the money
For
for
No,
shit.
they're printing this money, and what do you mean? How am I not upset that they're giving them $40 billion when they pass this legislation or this law or whatever the fuck you want to call it, this package? relief package to Ukraine. It was put onto the desk of senators and House representatives at like 3:00 in the daytime or whatever, and they barely had but 2 hours to read what's in this package and where the money's going. And I'm not saying that I know where this money's going to.
You think they read those?
Fuck no.
I mean, if they have a few days, some of them
They
do.
have
I guess I
hired
don't
people.
know.
They have hired people who actually read
But
through
still-
all of it.
but still, that's
they have
what
like
they
a
do.
staff of like 15 people that
It's-
read through all the shit and then they summarize it for the dumbass that actually got voted in, and then he gets to fucking make the indecision.
Either way, I'm kind of with Jesse on this one, where I'm like,
read through that shit.
it's not like that 40 billion. It's not like if it didn't go to Ukraine, they instead were going to spend it on baby formula.
Sure.
Like it wouldn't have. If it didn't go to Ukraine, it wasn't going anywhere.
Right.
Like that's the whole.
They wouldn't have printed the money.
Yeah, it's not like a trade. It's not like, oh, we got A instead of B. It was like, no, we got this thing. You should be mad that they still never fucking do this, though.
It's in the United States' best interest to help out the Ukraine right now. That's the only reason why. And also without like sending military there, but also still like staying in a neutral area, it's still in our benefit to help the Ukraine. You don't want to see Russia gain any more power. They're a competitor, right? You know, to an extent, as far as like military power, which by the way, they were thought to be this like massive military power, which they kind of look like a fucking joke. I'm sorry.
They're really not.
And-
They're like 4th or 5th ranked.
But you see how poorly they're. I'm sorry, if you were 4th or 5th ranked and you were coming. I'm sorry, if the United States wanted to take over the Ukraine, we would have it done in about a week.
Oh yeah, it would have been.
How
over.
long were we in Iraq and Afghanistan, Jesse?
I was going to say, I disagree with you because we've always talked about we've talked about before the whole, dude, not insurrections, like invasions.
Yeah. Well,
Usually don't fucking work because
they don't work.
think about invading the U.S. Like, even if we don't have a military, people are going to stand up for themselves. Even if we didn't have guns, people are going to like find a way to
Find a
fucking
way to
If we
fight.
truly wanted to wipe out any country, we could. You're right.
wipe it out. Sure,
Yeah.
nuke it, whatever. But I'm talking like a
The ground invasion,
Yeah.
whatever. But even then, however many troops we wanted to send in, we could, and we would do what we need to do. But they'll send in a little, a minuscule amount, and then draw the war out for whatever reason. But
No, Putin. I think just Putin has made an absolute shit show of this because he's come in and he's been fully shit on. Like his soldiers fucking look poor, like all this. Unless it's just the media that I'm.
oh yeah,
Could be that
I wouldn't
too.
listen
That's
to
a
the fucking
possibility.
media.
But
But I mean, I kind of get what you're saying though.
But I also support. I don't want to sound like I'm supporting fucking Russia in any way. Like anytime you're fucking with a clearly established country that is perfectly fine with their shit, leave them the fuck alone. Like don't. That seems pretty basic to me.
And I'm not saying I agree with Russia either, but I don't think we know the full scale of what's really going on there in the country. Just like we didn't know what was going on at the beginning stages of Iraq or even Afghanistan, especially Iraq.
no.
because
That's
brought it up before with
that's fair. You don't. But
Yeah.
in general, I feel like. I mean, they
just
shouldn't be
innocent
invading
lives being
Ukraine.
lost
Yeah.
and shit
It's-
like
it's
that.
always
Kids,
bad,
women,
man.
all
War's
that.
never fucking good.
Yeah.
No, and it should never come down to that. And it's always like this power play. Like the only people who benefit from fucking war are these like top echelon fucking people
Yeah.
that end up being
Naturally.
You know.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, so I guess the basis of the question was pretty much answered, and I think you're right. Like if this $40 billion package wasn't going to Ukraine, it wasn't going to go.
It wasn't
to
gonna go
solve-
somewhere
It wasn't
else.
even going to be. There wasn't going to be any money at all. The fact that they're not taking the baby formula shortage
that's a
more
separate
serious,
issue.
Yeah, but it's frustrating when it all happens at the same time, and you're like, man, I wish that they would try and solve this as opposed to this. But you're right. They're going to go with war and money and all that shit or whatever. So it sucks, man.
But handing out $40 billion to for baby formula. You said the FDA already went in there. That's a government-run facility, is it not? So the government is trying to figure out what's wrong with the bacteria in the formula.
But that's what I'm saying. They went in there. They didn't find any formula in there. They haven't opened the plant up yet, and they're going to wait a few more months until they open it up.
Who knows?
When you have a
I'd have to
shortage.
read into it. Maybe there's more investigation. Maybe there's whatever. I don't know. I have
Yeah.
to.
But I mean, we can hit up gas next, man. And I know that
It's
we've
expensive.
yeah we've. And you talk to whoever you want to talk to. It'll be interesting to see how high it gets this summer, because typically I feel like gas gets higher in the summertime because that's when everyone's
That's
doing
when
their
it
shit.
travels.
Yeah. But you have all these companies making record profits right now,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm curious, like if gas is so expensive,
That's why it's not inflation. It's price gouging.
Oh,
Right.
100%.
right? But I mean, and I'm trying to wrap my head around it. Why is oil so hard to get to? And a lot of people would say, and they blame it on Joe Biden. You see the stickers on wherever you pump your gas, and it says "I did that," and it's a picture of Joe Biden or whatever. There was a lease up in Alaska, and they didn't renew the lease. And it was going to be to pump oil in Alaska. So that lease is up, and they're no longer going to be extracting oil in that area. And then there's a lot of untapped gas in Alaska. And I'm not advocating for drills in Alaska and shit like that. Then you had the what's the pipeline they shut down?
Keystone.
right when the Biden administration got into office, they shut that down. So it's just like you see those things happen, and how would it not have an effect?
That one I know for a fact does not have an effect. Because what he shut down was a new pipeline from, it was a more direct route. Because currently right now it goes straight north and then west. The new phase that they were doing would have been a more direct route from point B to point A, just
It would have been
straight
from
line,
Canada to wherever.
a more straight line.
Yeah.
But all you're saying, they're still tapping into the same.
So
oil
that pipeline
reservoir.
is still running right now. It's just what he shut down was the more direct route, and also what that pipeline is carrying is crude oil, which doesn't make gasoline anyway. You can make gasoline out of it, but it costs more to refine it, and you got to ship it to certain plants. Not all plants refine that shit. It's like sand oil, I think it's called.
Okay.
I did not know that.
No, I've done a lot of research because I work around a lot of guys that want to talk about it, and so we've talked about it a lot. Yeah. And so and that phase, that's the other thing I found. That phase that he shut down would not have even been completed till 2023. That was his projected completion date.
Okay.
Was 2023. So even if it wasn't shut down, it still wouldn't have been affecting right now.
So, but even when Biden did come in, and I know that this is what a lot of people say, and Carl, thank you for bringing some good shit to the table, man. We went from being like the largest, exporter or importer of oil?
I would assume import.
Yeah.
I think import.
Yeah, because it was the Middle East, man. The whole reason why the Middle East was such a hot spot was because of the oil that was coming from there.
Well, no, but I don't know, because that.
Yeah,
and I think that's why it's so expensive now, though, is because we're no longer doing what we did before the Biden administration. I'm not praising Trump or anything like that, but I don't. I'd have to look.
I don't know.
into
I haven't looked enough into that aspect of it. I have looked at the whole the profit stuff where they're making more profit than ever, and I'm like, if it's real inflation and you're raising your prices because you're trying to stay afloat, then why are you making way more money than ever before?
Right.
That's not inflation then. That's you.
greed.
That's you raising prices so you can make more money because you need more profit this year than you had the last year.
Yeah.
No, like Exxon, Exxon almost wanted to hide their books and shit because they had made so much more money, but gas prices had gone up. But they were like, "Well, wait, that doesn't make any sense. Like, I thought that there was a shortage. Why have you like?"
But it's the same with everything. Even fucking like McDonald's is making like 45% more fucking profit than they made last year.
Yeah.
And all their prices went up, and man, foods. And this is just a small example because it's McDonald's. You could go with whatever. There's multiple companies, but like, oh man, stuff's so expensive now. Inflation, blah 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 blah. Yeah, but look, all the companies are making way more than they ever have.
Well,
So if their prices would stay the same, they'd still be making a fucking profit. Like, it's not inflation. It's gouging, or not the technical definition of gouging, but they're just raising prices to
greed.
make more
Yeah,
fucking
they're
money.
just greed.
Like,
Well, you brought it up one time I was here, the Arizona tea. The father and the two sons that own Arizona tea.
still 99 cents.
Still 99 cents, and they may have raised it somewhere else to like $1.50. Like, whoop-de-fucking-do. Like, I think it's like
I've seen I thought it was 99 cents everywhere. But even then,
I think in another country it is. But it's a dad and two sons that own it. And he's just like, he's like, okay, I make a little less money. I still make a fuckload of money,
he's
though.
like, I still make money and can live my
Arizona
life. I just
tea's
make
in
less.
every gas station in the entire fucking country.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. And he was like, yeah, why do I need...
Th-
See,
but
but that's a reasonable mind human being that has
Yeah.
a bigger view on the effects of his decisions.
Yeah.
Then you have these very small-minded individuals that are just about making more money, and they don't see all of the fucking, like, the bloodshed that happens underneath it to be able to make that money.
The suffering of
what
other
would-
people.
What would their excuse be for why gas is so high? Is it because it's harder to get right now, or is it because Saudi Arabia is price gouging and they're the ones who are?
I'm sure
BP
everybody
oil?
is because they're like, oh, Russia exports for us only 8% of our oil. Or we only took 8% from Russia, so they know we're going to go somewhere else to buy it. So they're like, oh, well, fuck yeah, we're going to charge you even more now. You have to come to us.
It's
You
just
know?
you can even see some of the graphs that I've looked up to where it's like it'll show like the spike of a price of like a gallon of crude oil or whatever the fuck it's called goes up,
Barrel.
and then gas prices goes up, and then all of a sudden the crude oil or barrel goes down, but then gas prices
take like 4 months afterwards.
yeah to stay like, why doesn't that supposedly it
Yeah.
should just follow that? Well, I get it. There's probably some other shit that's involved in that that's just not that. I can understand that, but I'm like, man, this is stupid.
It's supply and demand, and it right off the bat spikes at the exact same time. And then whenever it's, we got the supply back, everything's good, the prices still just stay. We're
Because-
going to keep them high for a while.
Because
And
I
also-
make more money. They can still make that
Exactly.
make that high, an even more high profit margin.
So that's just kind of
It's
frustrating.
all
'cause
money, bro.
when
It's
you
all
break-
profits.
Yeah, because
I feel like that's what I say every podcast. But
when you come back to like whenever like you talk about a hurricane and then you see people selling bottled waters like you were talking about, and then the government shuts that down and they say, hey, you can't do that. But when it comes to oil, they just allow it to freely happen because they're in bed with them. Obviously, that's the only answer, right?
very clearly.
Yeah. I mean, because I don't know.
But in my opinion, some people always want to fight against it, and I'm not one of them. But I think a president does have a small effect on gas prices, though. It's not that he doesn't or that he has the full, but through legislation, like Biden, he was like, we're going to stop drilling, stop tapping in all these certain areas that were operational. So yeah, that's going to affect it. But and whereas Trump was more open about it,
Right.
he's like, yeah, we're going to fucking drill and tap every fucking thing in this country. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
So I could see it both ways. But,
I get that. I get that.
But not to the extent that it's at now.
But I almost feel like, and this is 100% me just speaking out of my ass. I also feel like maybe companies just take advantage of that public look.
They give him a face. Yeah.
Like they're like, the Biden said all these things, and the fucking the execs in the boardroom are like, this means we can raise prices
Yeah.
and blame it on this.
Yeah.
True.
Like it just gives them a reason
Give
to
them a
make profit.
scapegoat. Yeah. For their greed.
And Biden doesn't give a fuck.
No.
You can blame
Oh,
me
he
however you want.
doesn't
I'm
give a
voted in.
fuck.
Well, that side of their administration, they're about the Green New Deal. They want environmental friendly and all this shit, I mean,
And he's getting voted back in too.
oh God, I hope not.
100% he will.
No, there's no chance.
Look at the
You think?
statistics of back-to-back presidents being voted in. Trump was the first one in how many fucking years?
There's not a chance, Jesse. There's not a chance.
Biden's getting voted back in.
He will be in diapers by the time that he tries to rerun for president.
You know what? In all fairness, usually I'd agree with what you're saying. Like 99% of the time,
I'm looking at
due
these
to
numbers.
due to age, maybe.
Yeah.
I could see that due to age.
No, I mean,
And then depending how long
They're going to
this
be pumping
war,
him full as Tom Brady
Oh, yeah.
fucking
How long this
Tom
war
Brady
goes in.
fucking
Depends.
Him and Tom Brady are going to be throwing
like
the
if
pigskin
if
around.
it somehow
Like,
still carried on till the next election, how many times typically is there a war you keep the same president also? I think that's also a statistic because you don't want
you usually
don't-
always keep because you don't want a cabinet change.
exactly
and,
you don't want a whole cabinet change in the middle of a war. So typically you keep the same president because
we're
everything
not in
stays
a
the same.
war right
there's
now.
not a
We're
chance.
not,
So-
but
so
Russia
that's-
is. So
Yeah.
if
depending on how involved we get,
exactly.
There's not a
by the time that
See,
election
but then
comes
that's
around,
shitty because then there's a bias for them to get involved into a war because
Yep.
then it holds their
Yep.
their position of
we
power.
go down
Yep.
that rabbit hole. We can. Yeah. They'll be like, oh, hey, we're going to go join the fucking war. We're going to send troops. And,
And
boom.
you know my opinion on this. All politicians are just cold-hearted sons of fucking
Oh,
bitches.
fuck yeah.
So they'll be like, yeah, we can sacrifice some American lives
for
if it
me-
keeps
for
me in
me to-
office.
yeah.
keeps me in office, keeps me able to do what I'm doing.
Oh, never a president.
So you're talking
Yes.
about the Green New Deal. Are you against that kind of stuff?
I think if you allow it to process over time, it's not something that has to happen right now. It's not the end of the world situation where by 2030 the world's going to sink and it's going to be gone. Again, it's fear porn, like we've talked about multiple times. Like, I'm completely okay with electrical cars or just trying to go as green as possible, whatever. I had Dan on like a month ago, and I think Dan did a really great job of going against the Green New Deal. But just let it happen naturally. It doesn't need to be forced. And I feel like right now it's being forced.
What's weird to me about, and I don't know enough about the Green New Deal, I just mean like you in general, Paul, is that a lot of times I hear you talking about like you get very attached to history and nature and all, like you're very like holistic in your approach to stuff.
Yeah.
But then when it comes to the government side of things, you're always very against the Green New, like those kind of initiatives. I just thought that was
No, like I
curious.
said, I'm completely okay with the Green New Deal, but like again, it can't be forced. Like it's not something that they in the next 5 to 10 years we got to stop all gas and all this shit. Like, dude, like that takes time. This is what we've been doing.
And it's never going to go away.
Yeah, no,
100%.
right. Because in order to make those Green New Deal products, you're going to need gas and
But then the government's just going to fuck you when you do that. Then they've already started it with.
It takes a lot of oil to produce those electric cars.
yeah.
Well, yeah, that too.
and a lot of lithium that you got to fucking yank out of the ground, and all the little kids
No,
get
that's-
fucked up from doing that.
Those
yeah.
electric cars are still built by coal-powered fucking
Right,
electric
yeah.
plants.
But fuck, what was I going to say? Fuck, I lost it.
I don't know. It's just it all seems too weird that all of this is happening at the same time, like inflation, gas, war, And maybe that's just what it is to be human.
No, but that's
we're in
been
it.
all of fucking like human history.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're talking about
So that's what I'm saying.
inflation.
It's going to be fine. It's going to be fine.
If
We're
you
gonna be
looked
all
up
right.
some weird newspaper article from like the 1600s back in fucking France, they're going to be bitching about the prices of shit. They're going to be bitching about like who they're currently fighting like at the time and the people in power. This shit happens all the time. The monarchy at the time, whatever.
We had the 2008 housing financial crisis, which was a big deal. And that wasn't just housing. That was a lot of stuff dealing with banks going under and loans and all this different, like, I don't know. It all comes in phases. You hit panic parts of history.
Yeah.
But we'll get through it.
I think that
I feel like it's been a constant panic part. What, are we going to have a lull?
Well, that's just life in general.
so essentially should gas and commodities and shit like that, should it always just be a set price, you know? And it can only fluctuate a small amount, not too much, not too little type of thing. Because like
I think that goes back to that whole pain versus pleasure thing we've talked about before, where they can keep you in line by pushing the envelope. You know what I mean? Like you can make prices high enough to where people are like right on that verge of this really fucking sucks, but it's not enough for me to stop paying and revolt. I'm going to keep paying it. You know, they find that line, they do their studies, and they find that like how much they can push people without pushing them over the edge.
Yeah, that's true. So that's what they're going to continue to do, and that's probably what's happened throughout.
And then
all
they'll back
history.
off for a while.
Yeah, give it 10 years,
then
and the
push
same
it
shit's
again.
going to happen
Yeah,
again. Yeah,
exactly.
It's the same way how the government regulates the monopolies that are in our power sources to like power our homes and stuff like that. To where obviously it is a monopoly. Like in Kansas City, you can only go to one place to get your gas. You can only go to one place to get your electricity. So then the government has to have a say and be like, hey, this needs to be regulated by us.
And they
Because
do a
that's
decent job of that, to be honest.
What utilities?
I feel like they do.
Yeah, just
Utilities?
utilities.
But I mean, we've talked about it. Those CEOs make profits in the millions.
Oh yeah, and
but-
I'm not saying they don't. I'm not like backing them up. I'm just saying as far as like regulated stuff goes, which most of the time I don't agree with. I feel like they do an okay job with
utilities.
like utilities.
Well, I told you
I
before
agree.
how they fuck you. I mean,
Yeah.
when I was here, you know, it just turned.
But I don't
bad.
feel like if it was like a true like unregulated monopoly, all of a
Oh, it'd be a
sudden
lot
next year
worse.
KCP&L could be like, we're doubling our prices. Eat a dick. Like, what are you going to do? Go without power?
So I guess what I'm saying is like, what can we find a solution here? And that's what I'm saying is like, can you put a set price on commodities to where it only fluctuates a little, or it doesn't fluctuate too much or too less? I guess you know what I'm saying. Like,
They probably already have that hidden price, though, is what I'm saying. We don't know it, but
so but fuck what's happening right now. If oil was truly hard to get and we're having to do so much more to get this oil, I get it. Then that's when you raise the price of gas because it's harder to get. But I don't think that that's the case right now.
I don't either.
Yeah.
I could be wrong,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I don't think that's the case either. I think they're just making more money than
So
ever before.
the supply's still there.
Right. I mean, you take an 8% hit from what we got from Russia, like that has some sort of impact, but I feel like you find
Yeah.
that somewhere else. And Saudi Arabia sees that and they're like, hey, man, we're going to charge you more per barrel because we know you need it type of shit. So maybe
Right.
it's
We
not,
know we know Eric can go to Mother Russia over there.
right.
You got to come to us.
See, but you don't do that with the United States because you don't fuck with us
Exactly.
like that.
Right.
You don't go, no. Well, we won't use any of your shit. And by the way, we'll stage a coup in your fucking. We'll pull some shit in and we'll end up taking over and get all of you who made that decision to raise the price 10% on us. We'll kill all you motherfuckers and your fucking family. Dude, Americans are gangster as fuck. I'm sorry. You look over time. Don't fuck with us. Like we'll step in. You step on our toes too much. We'll come in. We'll take you out. Like
Oh, yeah.
that's what we do. Like I said, like even look back on the war in Iraq. Everybody was making jokes in the early 2000s. Everybody knew it was over oil. Bitch, you cooking? No, everybody knew it was fucking over oil. And then look at all this. We finally fucking leave after, all that, and then just everything goes back to normal over there. Well, we weren't profiting probably over there.
How have people not realized that whenever prices rise, it's just to line the pockets of these people who want the money?
I don't know, man. How
Like
are we all
nothing's-
still brainwashed?
No,
Like,
no. People are so ignorant to think that there is still political driven decisions made off morality. There is nothing moral that happens there. It is strictly financial.
There'd be so much more good for the people if it was ever morally based.
No, but I mean that sounds great, right? Like
No, that's what I'm
all
saying.
the-
That's
yeah.
proof that it's never morally based.
Yeah.
Is because if it was morally based, we would provide like healthcare
would
and
be in-
education and a whole bunch of stuff.
Yeah, it would be
because
better
that
for
betters
better for the people.
everybody.
Yeah.
You talk about financially based decisions that have been made, and and it's been fueled by bloodshed and all that shit over the years. But
And I guess you bring it back and you talk about like having Paul, or we talk about having Paul on a couple weeks ago, and I don't know. I'm not saying we're ever gonna find the solution, but it's just like, damn, man, like we got to figure something out, man. We truly do, and I think we're past the point of like just all of us being involved in local politics, because it's just nuts going to the grocery store and spending the amount of money you're spending. It's like what, $4 for a fucking thing of eggs, like anywhere from $2 to $4. And you just see this shit, man. And I'm coming home and I put all these groceries onto where I put my groceries, and I'm like, this was $150.
Same way with me.
Yeah.
It doesn't even last a week, man.
Yeah.
$150, $200
Not
worth of
anymore.
groceries. That lasts 5 days.
It used
Yeah.
to. Dude, I live
man.
by myself, and now like what used to like $100 could get just me by myself through a couple of weeks. Now I'm like $100 is gone in like 3 days.
Yeah. It's crazy, man. And that we just sit here and we talk about it. And I guess that's what we just do as humans. And just being in the type of work that I'm in, and you just see everyone just all coming in and they're all having these conversations. And that's all we do is we just talk. We just talk to each other. We talk to our friends, our family, our circle. But we don't get involved, and we don't actually stand up for what we know is right and actually try and find the root of the problem, man.
They make it hard to get involved.
Yeah.
Does anybody here still even believe? Maybe this is a whisper in a fucking dream of like new sources of fucking energy, like geothermal power energy and like actual. But I don't. Okay, I get it with oil. So a lot of people are like, oh, you can't use oil. Well, actually, oil is a lot more like pliable to be able to like make shit. Like you can't turn sunlight into a fucking car.
Right.
You know, like, well, give me a hit of acid, I might be able to.
We'll figure it out.
For the time being. But it's like shit like that. Like even I talk about the book Jeremy Rifkin wrote about us moving into the third industrial revolution, and then the fact that we're still stuck in the second industrial revolution, and just like
We haven't got that new power source down yet.
and it's like, okay, so if you were to scroll back like 20 years, and instead of funding so much like warfare and military for like military design, what like of weaponry and outdoing this other country, what if you just spent it on strictly on how to create better, cleaner sources of how to make shit? I don't know a better way to say that.
But because that doesn't add up for money for those companies in the
Those
future.
people lose money.
Look at the basic plot of Iron Man 1, where he's like, hey, I've invented free energy for everybody. And the CEO's like, no, because we want to make money. Like,
oh no,
if you
perpetual
make
energy.
if you make a car that doesn't need gasoline for fucking
they're never going to do that.
like a month, the fuck they're gonna want you to fund that shit.
Ford had people killed, I'm pretty sure.
Well,
There's
that's what
like
I'm saying.
many
It's like-
documentaries on that shit.
Or the motherfucker that made a water powered
of Ford.
car.
Yep.
That motherfucker gone.
Yeah,
You
don't
know?
do that shit.
Yeah, you can go fucking get water when it rains and power your fucking car. Why would they want that? They don't. They want you to keep buying the
So then,
gas, keep buying the shit that they keep raising the prices.
At that point, though, what's the point of human existence? Whenever you have that,
Now you're thinking.
When you have these things happening, there's just no point. There's no point at all, unless the point of living on this earth is just to consume and work for these motherfuckers and give them whatever it is you need to give them. Your time and your energy. Fuck that, man.
I'm gonna have to
fuck that.
I'm gonna find this on my phone before I fucking leave tonight. I'm not gonna do it now, but they literally did a study to where they did a poll to where they said, do you think working hard actually makes you you feel like working hard will get you farther in life and everything? And that so many, like, I think it was like 60%.
It's like 67% or something like that.
Like the majority of people said no, working hard doesn't get you where you
Which
wanna
is
be in
up. They
life.
did the same poll like 9 years ago or something, and the number's up massively from then.
If you want to make a lot of money, majority of the time you have to fucking work hard. You have to. Like, there's no way around it.
I'm not
So
disagreeing with
if you-
that. I'm saying that people in general now have this existential doom feeling of, dude, people are out there busting their ass, working fucking 50, 60 hours a week and shit. Can't afford daycare, can't afford whatever. Dude, before we were on the podcast, I talked about the guy, single father, that I ran into who was filling out EBT and SNAP forms and financial aid forms that he's never filled out in his entire life. And we get in the conversation. I'm not going to go into the whole story again, but we get into the conversation about like what the poverty line and all this. And he was like getting offended and was like, hey, I'm not in poverty. I'm not poor. I'm middle class, blah, blah, blah. Like, he was brainwashed into thinking that he was middle class and everything was going well for him, while he's literally sitting in front of me filling out financial aid SNAP EBT forms for the first time because he's got 2 kids and he's a single dad.
Yeah.
And can't afford
food for his kids. No, then you're obviously not in a true middle class. Like, you are poverty. Like,
I don't know.
You can leave it at that. Like, that's just
that's all there is to it.
Literally, yeah. That shit.
He's literally filling it out there, and at the same time disagreeing, saying, "Nope, I'm in good shape. Everything's good."
But it's always been this way, and it's just
denial.
It's fucking human history, man. And you always you're gonna find those people whenever they reach the top of the pyramid, they're not gonna give it up, and they're gonna find a way to keep it for as long as possible, and they're gonna pass it down by generation. And look where it's led us, and it's led us to this moment, and we're all feeling the effects of it. And this wave right now is pretty hot. This wave is hot as fuck, and it's affecting everyone. But then you're right, the wave's going to go back down, and we're going to all be chill for like 10 more years.
Yep.
Then there's going to be another wave, and it's just like there's enough resources on this earth, enough food and resources it's plentiful for everyone, man. And I mean, I don't know how that works and what you need to do to make everyone happy, but like, you see where I'm kind of getting at? I don't know, man. I can't continue for these waves to happen. It's just fucking bullshit, man. I hate it. I hate the fact that these rich motherfuckers.
You will continue, though. We all will.
They're the same as you and I.
Maybe these rich motherfuckers have so much like resources as to where their knowledge goes, and they go, man, you know what? They can disprove whatever. They're not morally obligated to fucking any religion. That's fucking clear to me. If you say that, every president's fucking religious, well, they're not living their life fucking correctly to any of those religions that they claim by. And maybe go, you know what? This is all just whatever you can make out of it. So I'm going to abuse the shit out of this. And yeah, I'm going to die. I'm going to die in like 40 years. Who cares how the fucking planet's going to be? Because I'm going to be fucking dead. And then they just ruin the fucking planet. And then their kid inherits their money and they have the same mentality up until eventually, boom, it's all fucking done.
What's that?
You got to keep these rich motherfuckers in check.
We're going to destroy the earth because of people's greed.
I'm paraphrasing because I don't remember the actual quote, but it's something along the lines of like a true good man or a true good person or whatever, blah, 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 plants a seed that he will never see grow into a tree for his children or whatever for the future. You know what I mean? Like, you have to do the work and plant the seed and try to do good now, even if it doesn't benefit you. He's never going to get to see the fruits of his labor.
You take care of the next guy.
It's to benefit the next generation. And and the rich people in the place of power to do that, to plant the seed, are like, no, I'm going to fucking till this soil until...
I'm going to take care of myself.
I hate to use this term, but I think that there almost needs to be like a spiritual awakening amongst these super wealthy...
And to clarify for the audience, by spiritual, you don't mean religious in any way, right?
I mean, fuck it. If religion ends up making it fucking work, then let it work.
Well,
but
then
preferably
clarify
not.
for me.
But then preferably not. But man, if somebody ends up being actual Christ-like, in being self-sacrificing, which is the definition of being Christian, to be Christ-like, and you talk about a very great representation of he was willing to die, like give his life for everyone. You know, that way everyone could have better opportunity kind of thing. He loved everyone. He wanted everyone to, that. So the definition of Christian is to be Christ-like. If you just even implemented that, and you know how I feel about religion, so I'm even using that one. If there's this like spiritual awakening, which I think like shrooms and some fucking psychedelics fucking help on this, but to recognize that, man, you're a piece of this. And it's almost like, then you get this sense of whenever you feel like you're a piece of it, now you have that responsibility. And a lack of responsibility in positions of power to just be selfish, because selfish is the opposite of responsibility. Like, who gives a fuck, man? I'm gonna do me. I'm gonna get off. I don't care about anybody else. I'm gonna do me. There is no sense of responsibility there. And I think that a spiritual awakening of like a mental in the sense of connection with other people would fucking help with that, man. That's what they need. I think they need to do like ayahuasca trips. Send all like, I think it's like 1,800 people or like 1,900 people hold like 90 or 95% of the wealth in the entire world.
Probably.
Yeah.
I think you get all of them together and you make them like guided ayahuasca trips, and then have them come out of that and see if they.
But not all 1,900 of them together. Like one of them with like five normal people.
No, because they'd kill each other. They'd all kill each other. Because then they'd be like, "Oh, I've been trying to kill like this fucking group of people." That would never work. You're right, because they're probably out for each other's blood. But I think that there needs to be this like enlightened shit. Like there's It's all about fucking money. You can enjoy yourself too. Do you think those billionaires worried about? Do you think Putin? Okay, this is a great example, right? Putin right now, he's like tucked away. Fucking, I'm pretty sure there's rumors of cancer and shit, which I don't fucking care about. That could be just all kinds of propaganda. But he's like running a war, and do you think he's enjoying his life? Like, bro, you have to be like tucked away in a bunker fucking constantly because everybody's trying to kill you. I'm like, dude, like what? Like, and he's probably have like hookers or whatever that come down, like blow him every fucking night, probably 3 or 4 fucking whatever. But I mean, at that point, you're like, fuck, like that amount of stress. Like, man, just be like cool with everybody. Go outside, fucking ride a horse shirtless, like how you were doing fucking 10 years ago or whatever.
Stop going to war.
He can't do that shit anymore. No. Like, no, like he's bulletproof vest fucking.
But
on
the
a
spiritual
horse.
trips with the billionaires is it's not just their mind you have to change. It's the common people that agree with them too. I got a guy at work that we talked about Jeff Bezos. I'm like, you think that motherfucker needs all that money? Well, he earned it. I'm like, the fuck he did in the beginning. Yes, he earned it.
Is he union? Is he a union guy talking about how he earned that money?
Yeah, we worked together.
Like, bro, you're
And
a
I
union,
tried-
bro.
and I
Like,
tried-
come on, man.
No, I tried to explain it to him. I'm like, you think the motherfucker needs $500 billion in his fucking pocket? No. Well, yeah, he's like, well, he earned the money. Why shouldn't he get to keep it? I'm like, I'm not saying he shouldn't be rich. By all means, be fucking rich. Not that fucking rich.
This is on
So
such a.
you're talking about normal people that agree with that cocksucker.
Even if
insane.
which I don't think
So
whatever, but
insane.
like
Whatever
let's
he's
say,
worth.
let's
You know,
say
I'm
he earned it
exaggerating numbers.
100%. It was all his
And he
hard work.
didn't.
And he didn't. It wasn't on the backs of laborers that he paid minimum fucking
Fuck
wage.
no.
It wasn't off dying fucking children in China and all this. Like, let's say he truly earned it just through his own gumption. Even if he earned it all and deserves it all, you still, a decent human being would realize that you'll never use $150 billion in your life.
Yeah. Well, and the other thing, motherfucker said too, is he took the risk. Yeah, in the beginning he did. So yeah, he should get some money for it. But Amazon is at no risk.
I'm not
of
saying he should
failing
be
right
fucking
now.
poor.
Right.
Like,
But he's like, well, he took the risk. Yeah, he did. But Amazon is not going to fail. Microsoft is not going to fail. These big fucking companies, Apple is not going to fail.
give him
They're
five,
risk-free.
give him $5 billion, and him and his kids are set for the rest of their lives.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Off of $5
Inflation's
billion.
not going to fucking touch them.
I've said this in a previous podcast where I was like, if you think you are a self-made person, you are fucking delusional.
Yeah.
Were you not birthed by somebody? Were you not raised by somebody? Did you not have to interact with people and communicate with people well to be able to make your business work? Did people not have to work for you? Did you not have to have mentors that had to show you the fucking way on how to do this? Did you not have to learn from teachers? Did you not have to read authors of fucking books to gain knowledge on how to do this? Any person who says they're self-made, you are a fucking piece of fucking shit.
Yeah.
You are so delusional and fucking arrogant and self-entitled to think that you are self-made. It didn't take all this other societal level that was good for you and all these other people involved in your life that fucking got you there. Self-made is the most ridiculous statement for a human being to fucking make whenever you talk about, oh man, I'm Jeff Bezos and I'm a self-made fucking whatever fucking amount of money he has. There's probably not even a fucking word for it right now. He's probably got shit on the books. Fucking that's the most ridiculous thing I've ever fucking heard of. It takes all of us. And that's what I talked about, like this sense of like spiritual connection to realize that, man, it's not just me, it's everything else. It's everything else that's make this. And then you have an appreciation for it. But it's the lack of appreciation and this idea of self-entitlement and, oh, I'm fucking self-made, that you're a fucking psychopath and go fuck yourself. Because it takes everybody fucking involved to have put you to where you are.
Yeah.
So you should be so thankful, kissing everybody's ass that helped you fucking get there. Like that's the most ridiculous fucking mentality to me in the fucking world.
Or like
It's
Amazon.
self-made
Imagine
fucking
every
people.
Amazon worker walking out of their facility right fucking now. All those Amazon.
Yeah, go
guys-
ahead, do it, Jeff Bezos. Get it done.
Right.
Yeah.
By yourself.
Yeah, you're fucking self-made. Go out there and fucking do every fucking job in that warehouse. Go to all of them. You know, fuck you.
Yeah.
Well, and they found ways around that, and whatever.
Which
they-
robots and shit. I know they're.
No,
you
I'm not
know.
even saying that, but just in robots, yeah, you could sit there and you have these people say that robots are going to take over a lot of these job forces, and
Hey, fuck! I went to McDonald's here recently. The motherfucker had an automated motherfucker taking my order. It was
Really?
a robot taking my order. It
Here
wasn't
in
not even. No,
here
it
in
was.
town?
It was in Olathe. I was on my way to work getting some breakfast.
They will spend more
and
money.
they were like, "How can I help you?" And I'm like, "Hello." And they're like, it didn't talk, and so I started saying my order. It's just popping up on the screen.
They will refuse to give people more money. They will spend more. They'll spend more money on combating people to keep them at their wage than it would have taken to pay them that fucking wage.
Yeah.
And also implement like new technologies that get rid of jobs. It's this insane fucking mentality, like this insane enslaved.
I know this is gonna sound
shit.
This is gonna sound kind of fucked up, but like I'm okay with like automated jobs at like places like McDonald's and fast food because I think that forces people to find something else, and maybe those people won't find something else, and that's very drastic, and that is not good. And those jobs should exist, but at the same time, I'm glad that they don't because I don't think that anyone's worth it. People have more to offer than working at fucking McDonald's, man.
So I agree in the sense that I don't think automation. I don't think automation.
But that job has to be done. Sorry,
I don't think automation is bad. I've talked about this before.
Yeah.
It's the way that it's implemented. It's what we do with the people afterwards. In theory, if someone makes something that means that you two no longer have to work your jobs, your job is now obsolete because we've perfected it with mechanics or whatever.
Right.
That means you should no longer have to work. Like you should still be able to live your life and everything should be good. We as a society, as a world, as humanity in a whole, have now figured out the ability to where you as a free individual don't have to work to make everybody else happy. We've automated it. Now you go off and enjoy your life.
Yeah. So
that's what automation should do.
Yeah.
Yeah, you get a check.
Not just like, oh no, it's taking our jobs. Like, no, that's a problem from higher up, the fact that they don't just let you live freely.
Yeah.
Well, and honestly, it's in the restaurant industry, it's really hard to find good people, right? I mean, we've all been in management for the
It's not hard to find good people. It's hard to find good people willing to work for nothing.
Right. And the service industry is different. And we've all managed service industry and at pretty much the same places. And like, depending on what you're doing, like it can be good money and you can make $30 to $50 an hour doing what it is that we do.
Yeah. As servers and stuff, not like McDonald's.
Right. Right. And not everyone wants to do that is what I'm saying. And it's hard and not everyone's going to make that top tier money. Then you have people who are on the bottom who want to work.
But even then, that's not the company paying you. That's fucking customers paying you. That's your tips. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I'm cool with that. I mean, there's no way in the world that a restaurant could survive off paying like their top 3 servers $40 an hour.
I get that.
No way.
I get that.
There's no way that you know what I'm saying? And it's that. I think if the restaurant industry and all these just very minimal, and I'm not saying what we do is minimal, but these types of jobs, if they're automated, I think that gives people a chance to give more to life.
I understand that, and I actually agree with that. I guess I just hate the argument of, and not just for restaurants, I've heard it for tons of places, even like bigger companies like tech companies and stuff where it's like, oh, it's so hard to find good workers. That's a lie. It's not hard to find good workers at all. It's hard to find good workers whenever you don't put a pay salary on your application.
Yeah.
Like you don't put a pay range. And then when they go in the interview, you don't tell them or you quote them way less or whatever. Or you make them fight for it and negotiate and all this shit, all this. No, it's not hard to find good people to work. You're making it difficult because you just won't pay people what they're worth.
I was going to make a point to you what you said, that no company would survive for paying a salary as opposed to tipping.
I would not be a server or a bartender if I got paid like $20 an hour. I wouldn't do it. If you told me, "Hey, Paul, go bartend, you get $20 an hour," I wouldn't do it.
Pay cut.
Yeah, that's a pay.
It is, but you're saying nobody would survive in America. Yes, then how come in other countries where the tipping is not a thing, how come they flourish?
True.
Flourish
Because those people are used to making $20 an hour and they're okay with it.
Because of everything else.
Well,
their
yeah,
cost
because of everything.
living,
Yeah, the cost of
because they're not
living
getting
and social
fucked by
services. And
exactly.
So
it's just a product of where you've lived. Where you live.
I would be curious to know.
You
The
could
country
survive
probably
on
has
it.
free healthcare. The country
Yeah.
probably has like
But
free
that's what I'm
healthcare and
saying.
like free college. And
That's
shit
what I'm
like
saying.
that, too.
It's a bigger problem, which is what so what's been talked about here is that it's a bigger issue. You could survive off that if you weren't getting fucked.
I don't think I could live off $20 an hour.
If you
Yeah.
weren't
Not in the-
if
not
you-
here, not in the
way
United
it's set up
States.
now.
with the current system.
With the current system, I'm sorry, yeah, that's perfect. With the current system, why can you go to Europe, be a server, get paid an hourly rate, and you can be fine?
I would be curious to look more into that, and then do a more
right,
deeper dive.
exactly.
Which
I haven't. So
which I definitely will, because that's very interesting. Because you make a good point.
But
I mean, what's to say that maybe the United States has more restaurants, and maybe you know what I'm saying? There's just a lot of different factors. Europe is a lot smaller than
it is smaller, but like he said, they have a national health care. You know, I worked with a guy that was in Canada, and I asked him because they have that universal health care. He's like, dude,
and I'm not sure about, in all fairness, I'm not sure about which countries in Europe do.
Yeah, and I'm not sure either. But like Canada, they have a universal health care. He's like,
lot of them,
I was like,
by
how
the
did you?
I know, but not
How
like.
did you like it? He's like, I fucking loved it.
Yeah.
You know, he loved it. Never, you know, they hear about the wait times. And he's like, no, it was never an issue. You know, you go in, get what you need, and you walk the fuck out. You know?
I always think it's funny when I hear the argument against universal health care and talking about like taxes and privatized insurance and all this, where they're like, no, people should have to pay their own way into insurance. Why should I support, like, that's your fault. If you can't afford it, if you can't buy health care and you can't buy all this stuff, like, it's not a public service or whatever, you have to pay for this. Why should I be involved and my taxes go to it? I'm like, okay, so next time your house catches on fire, firemen shouldn't go to that because my taxes pay for that. You should have been prepared and, you know, got some quotes and went to an outside company to fight fires when your house catches on fire. Oh, no, that's different. How?
Yeah.
Like, how?
How can you be an individual who is in office and a politician who literally gets taxpayer paid for
life?
For life healthcare, and you vote against other people getting
healthcare,
getting similar level shit.
Yeah.
They're completely against that shit.
Well,
Jesus
and
Christ,
I
man.
guess they're essentially doing, like we talked about earlier, they're writing off, like if you go to the hospital and you don't have insurance, they're writing off money. Like I said,
there's somewhere you can go on there. You can.
You don't have to go there. I mean, like I said, my daughter, she busted her chin open. We don't have insurance. I mean, she has a pediatrician, all that shit. We pay cash. And then, you know what? A month later, I made one payment. The next month, I said, hey, I want to blah, blah, blah. And they're like, we took care of it. You don't have to pay anything else.
That's another wonky shit too with the
Yeah.
healthcare.
Healthcare's weird. Well, it's also
in America.
it's also
weird,
cheaper.
man.
It's also cheaper in general if you don't have insurance. And I don't mean to you, I mean the service as a whole. So like
Cash payment,
if you don't have insurance and you're paying cash or whatever, maybe it cost you $20,000 for your procedure, whatever it is. Maybe it costs you $20,000. And if you had insurance, deductible, all that jazz, maybe it only cost you $5,000. But the difference is now the insurance company is paying $40,000. You know what I mean? They're like, oh, we charged $45,000
Oh
for
yeah,
this.
they see your insurance.
And
like,
we get,
oh fuck,
we
yeah,
get
we're gonna charge
$40,000
you.
from the insurance and $5,000 from you. Or if you just paid it with no insurance, the whole procedure is $20,000. Well, why is there such a difference? Why is there such a gap? It's just because you can get money.
Oh, there's so many
from the
times
in-
I've gone to a doctor, wherever the fuck I go, they're like, they look at my insurance card, like, oh wow, this is really good insurance. I'm like, all I hear is you're gonna charge them more money.
Yeah.
Whenever you say that, oh, this is really good. Okay, well, I'm getting fucked.
I'd love to see the books of insurance companies, man. That would be-
And hospitals.
yeah, in hospitals. I'd love to see the books on it.
I've always been curious about how they actually make money, and like life insurance in particular.
Well, a lot of hospitals are privately owned now, right? As where it didn't used to be that way. I don't.
And they
believe
set
that-
their own prices.
Yeah.
You can go to two different hospitals, be two different prices for
No,
the
you're
same
right
procedure.
on that, and that's actually one thing I learned after my accident is you can go in and look. Well, it
But
should
you're not
be.
gonna. Well, you're,
no, this
you're,
is the
you're
whole
about
thing.
to die.
So-
You're not gonna shop around for a fucking.
Well, no. So this is
heart.
another thing that's big. I'm just now remembering this because I was like looking this up after I broke my leg. Is that they're supposed to have very easily accessible documentation on how much it costs for each procedure, and they don't fucking give that shit to you. Good
Why
luck
would they?
trying to find. No, it's actually like legally obligated to show you how much it costs,
Okay.
and you can't fucking find that shit out. You got to go through like.
You probably have to
leaps
ask and
bounds.
ask and ask and ask. But by then you've been on a fucking broken leg for 2 weeks.
Yeah, and then you just go and get it done because that's morally right. You should be able to know, like walking into a store, right? Like how
It's a
much,
service. You should know what you're paying.
Yeah.
but they hide that shit. Which is ridiculous. $200,000, and you like freak the fuck out, and then you go, oh, paid in cash, so now it's only like $19,000.
Yeah.
Or like when we all
Jesus
had our
Christ,
first
where did that
kids.
$200,000 fucking
Yeah.
all of a sudden go to? Oh, that's with if you had that insurance, they had
Yeah.
that there. Then
How
they're
does the
charging
insurance?
that for
How does
that.
the
And
insurance
then
companies
network
eat
and
that?
out of network.
Dude, I don't know.
How do they eat that price,
Dude, and how do they make a profit?
Yeah.
I still
how
think,
does insurance companies make profit off of their
and
shit?
I'm probably wrong. By the way, I'm probably wrong, but it's always been my like.
I think it's because
look
not
on it.
everyone's getting in.
That's what I was gonna say.
not
Insurance
everybody's
is
getting injured.
in a sense a gamble.
Yeah.
And I feel like maybe just like a casino, the house has the edge where they're like, hey, if we have a 53% intake and we only pay out 47%, that's a 3% profit.
Yeah.
If we change our prices and adjust our, what do you call that? Not terms, but like your, what is that called? If you have insurance, your policy.
Oh yeah.
Like we change our policy to where, oh, it doesn't cover this anymore. and it doesn't cover this anymore. We slip these out, or like you have to meet these requirements.
Yeah.
Blah blah blah.
Or pay
bit
more
by
to get
bit.
this and
now
that.
they're just like I said, it's a gamble where it's like, do I fall in the 60% that it doesn't cover, or the 40% it does?
And they have the edge, of course. House always has.
They
the
figured
edge.
it out. It's math.
Yeah.
It's a business.
Right.
Well, you know they have too much money. Insurance has too much money when you see Patrick Mahomes and fucking Aaron Rodgers on a State Farm fucking commercial. You're taking my money and you can pay these motherfuckers to be in your commercial,
Right.
or pay for a commercial in general.
Yeah.
Marketing in general.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
So don't have them on and lower our rates, please.
that's what I'm saying. Like,
Yeah.
I don't.
Oh, shit. Hey,
I don't fucking.
Allstate.
I don't need to pay Mahomes $50,000 to fucking.
In all
tell
fairness,
me
I
to
don't
go
have
buy
a problem
insurance.
with marketing because that's also like that's how they get more customers, and that's how by having more customers they could technically lower your rates that way as well.
But they only lower your rates.
I don't
if you're
mind
accident-free
advertising
and
for
shit.
companies.
How about the government just regulates insurance?
But that would be better.
There you go.
How about taxpayer dollars go to see that, and there's no profit there, and it's just taxpayer shit.
It's interesting.
I've actually said that before, like years ago.
I think we all
First
have.
time I've
Yeah,
said that.
I think
yeah.
that could be like on a state level too. Like
There's like no new ideas. Oh, state to state.
Yeah,
like so you get Missouri coverage,
Yeah.
and Missouri coverage has like 4 tiers, and this is what you get.
That
You
could
know?
be inherently bad though.
I mean, you wouldn't
even
even need tiers though. if
good
it's all just
doctors would go to
publicly.
states where they get paid the most.
True.
I'm talking about like
So-
car insurance.
Yeah,
I'm just
Well,
suggesting
I'm sorry, but
Oh.
I'm saying like healthcare. I'm just so
I actually
car
yeah, I
insurance
agree.
seems pretty
so,
fucking
car
simple,
insurance,
man.
yeah,
Yeah,
that could be
The-
across the
the-
board. But
the
you
other-
said government run. I just
you
immediately
can,
went
yeah,
to
if you
health
really
insurance.
focus on the easy one, you talk about fucking car insurance. Like just have that
Oh yeah,
state run non for profit.
Yeah.
Non for profit, state run, taxpayer paid for
Yeah.
insurance.
Boom.
Bullet comes through this window. It really was his last podcast, wasn't it? Went up against the insurance.
I mean, that would
company
be
with logic.
that would be cool. But I can even then I think there's a big difference between car insurance. As long as you're talking about damages to your own car, as long as you're talking about physical damages and not people, not hospital damages, but just
Right.
physical damages like collateral, all that stuff, I can see how that's privatized. And to me, that's not the same as like healthcare
right.
and the benefit of like a human being's health.
You,
know what I
talk
mean?
about giving people incentive. What if you had a car, like let's just say Missouri implemented this whole thing to where they're like, if you own a car that's under a $15,000 value, and obviously there'd be a bunch of stipulations, but just in general, if you own a car under $15,000 and you pay fucking cash for it, you fucking own that car, it's already coming out of your Missouri, so the Missouri is fucking already in there for that. And then it's just fucking taken out. Yeah, your insurance is there. It's on the plate. And by the way, the plate's paid for too because you're already paying taxes for that. Because the DMV is a fucking
Which was
state.
always weird to me anyways.
Like the state's already like that's.
Why
a
am I
state-
paying for my tags every year?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a state thing. You
Or
should
every
just
other
go in
year.
and, like you just lump it in. You pay for your state tax. Hey, that would give people incentive.
Don't
like
my taxes go to pay the DMV?
Yeah,
And then I have to go in and pay the DMV?
and pay the DMV.
Like, what?
how are people not more upset about that? You know, to where that's already coming out.
Should just be a
Boom.
service. I should
Yeah,
just go take
free
my driver's
service.
license, get my license, get my
Free-
tags.
Same
My
thing as-
taxes are already implemented.
Yeah.
Because revenue, man.
Revenue.
Yeah. I don't know.
Gotta make
I don't
money.
know who jumped on that train. Yeah, we need to make sure our car's good every 2 years. We just keep doing it.
Right, like fuck off.
Yeah. No matter
It's
what.
a joke.
Which,
It's
I mean,
$12.
like,
you
the-
have to pay in cash now.
The
you
small,
have to pay in
well,
cash.
I mean, like the small step, like the
You can pay it
inspections.
with a card, but it's like a 15%. Like,
You know, if your car's younger than 10 years or lower than 150,000 miles, you don't have to get it inspected.
yeah, they did
anymore.
change it a few. They did change it a couple of years
that's
ago.
A small step.
So
Which mine hits that next.
see,
I know. Yeah, I'm thinking the same thing. Like mine's creeping closer to that.
Mine's next time I
that
get my tags, I
threshold.
have to get the inspection.
Yep.
So for all the viewers out there, the house that I've been renting for like fucking a
Forever.
decent amount of time, not forever, but a decent amount of time, got bought up by a major corporation. They hired a third-party company to manage the property, and they literally had the audacity to say if they didn't have a direct link to my bank account, like so basically if I was just paying like a credit card payment or a debit card payment, like how you would do like anywhere to pay for shit, they were going to charge me basically 3% of what my rent was on top of that. So it would have been Johnny, you're good with math.
Bless you.
What's 3% of $800?
Oh God, I can't do that right off the top of my head.
$1,000.
Bro, you got a phone right in front of you.
Oh, 3% of $1,000.
3% of $1,000.
$30.
$30. So they're literally charging me. I'm just gonna knock it down to like $25. they were literally charging me if I didn't do it exactly the way that they wanted to do it, which I feel like is a very like this is how you do transactions. Like I put in my card number, I put in this.
I'm gonna play devil's advocate here because they're probably making profit, but technically that kind of thing exists. That even exists at small like mom and pop places, like your local ice cream shop or whatever. Because when you use a debit card or a credit card,
I know
they're paying
a part of that transaction goes to that company. So like Visa.
But 3%?
No, you're right. 3% is probably they're gouging or whatever. But what I'm saying is technically I understand why that kind of charge exists. It should probably be like 0.2% or 0.5%. I don't know the numbers.
I thought it is actually 3, though,
looking,
that sounds right.
Looking at the new shit.
It might be.
I was
Visa
like,
takes their fucking cut too, man.
I'm like, so basically what you're telling me, if I don't do it the exact way that you want it, which is very specific, you need my bank account.
You get a discount. You get a discount at Minsky's if you pay cash. Because whenever you use a credit card transaction, they have to pay. Dude, at Jose Peppers, when you swipe a card and decline, it's even like a small fraction.
No, it's like a fraction of a cent every time you do it.
Because a lot of companies eat that cost. They don't. Well, they say they eat that cost. They really don't. You're paying for it still, but they tell you that they eat that cost. That 3%, like a restaurant will pay for it, or a grocery store, or wherever the fuck you go. Pretty much anywhere.
But just coming from a hardworking middle class to all of a sudden be like, man, rent's already. Which it's not, I'm not going to say that I'm not going to like butter everybody up to think that I'm like having struggles. But I'm like, man, you're telling me it's going to cost me $25 just to pay
Jesse,
my fucking rent?
Jesse, the average credit card, when you add them all up, like Visa, Discover, MasterCard, all the big ones, when you add them all up, the average processing fee for like a company, like if you owned a company and I used a credit card at your company, the amount you pay off that transaction is between 2.87% and 4.35%.
Jesus.
So 3% is right there.
You got the low end.
Yeah.
That is such a ridiculous thing.
That's Visa making their money though. That's not your
Visa makes their money on fucking credit cards.
That's what you're paying with.
And like you said, it's a debit card.
That's still Visa makes their money off your debit card too because it's a Visa debit card.
They want your routing number, bro. That's what they want.
Yeah, they want your checking.
They want to come right out of your checking because when they go out of your checking,
you can't see that how that's bullshit. I shouldn't have to pay $25 just to be able to pay my rent.
They don't want to pay Visa or MasterCard.
It's because they don't want exactly. Yeah. They're trying to they don't want to pay Visa or MasterCard because every other because
they're a large corporation like you said. So
and that adds up. That's profit. That's I get it is what I'm saying. Like I don't agree with it.
Yeah.
But I get it. I understand why that charge is there.
So why is there not anything that's like separate from that to where it's just your bank?
It is.
Like
that's
Bank of America's. Dude, I go through Bank of America.
That's Jesse.
Bank
that's your
of
routing
America.
number and all that. It's just your bank. That's what they want. Yeah. That's when they pull it directly from your checking. They're not going through Visa or MasterCard or whatever. When you use your debit card,
bank to bank.
they go through Visa or MasterCard or whatever. It's not coming just from your bank. It's going through the Visa transaction thing, even though it's a debit card. That's why there's that fee.
Because Visa
if you
or MasterCard,
give them
they have to process
If you give them your checking account number and your routing number, it's just going through your bank, and Visa's never involved.
So it saves both parties money, essentially.
It honestly does.
I don't think they're trying to do it to fuck. Because that's how I do
You
mine.
don't see how that's flawed, though?
It is.
Does anybody else see how
that's... But I'm saying your anger shouldn't be on your renter, though. It really shouldn't for that. That's just them not hiding the actual price.
Well, no, and I didn't.
It should be on Visa and MasterCard.
And I did the whole shit. I guess I just now I'm educated, and that's what this podcast is about. It's about educating.
The CEO of MasterCard and Visa, man, they're probably just sitting back, just chilling, man. They're just living their best life.
Don't even know their names, bro.
Yeah, me neither.
They're
Tom Visa and Sandra MasterCard.
That sounds like a important name. Sandra MasterCard.
Well, that puts us a little bit over the hour, you guys. We're a little bit over the hour. I think we'll leave it there.
I enjoyed this one. I like this one.
Same. It was a lot of fun. I'll be sure to save it right after I get done doing the podcast, honestly.
Whenever you click off Google Drive, it's going to delete everything.
Yeah, fucking Google, man.
I can't believe your computer crashed that one time when we just walked away for like 2 minutes.
I know, that was wild.
Fuck you, Microsoft, for all of a sudden being like, you know what? I'm not going to save any of your shit or give you a prompt. I'm just going to reboot and update right now.
That's what had to have happened. I don't know. Crazy shit. Hope you guys like the podcast, man. The best thing you can do for this podcast is like, share, subscribe to the channel. Carl, thanks for joining the show, man, as always.
Yeah, love being here.
Hell yeah.
You slowly grooming Carl into being the replacement Jesse? Carl, you've been to a lot of them recently. I'm all about it.
Nobody can replace Jesse. Let's just say that.
You're fucking goddamn right.
Let's just get that out of the way.
Fill in for Jesse.
I'll fill Jesse in.
Yeah. Well, yeah, we'll get it figured out, Jesse. We wish the best of luck to you, man.
Thanks.
Can't wait to meet your little boy, man. It's gonna be fucking beautiful and amazing.
I'll be back. He'll be a thumbnail.
Hell
Get
yeah.
something funny, man. You throw him in
He'll
the-
be a
I'm gonna
thumbnail.
bust. I'm gonna bust into the hospital room with Subway and eat it right in front of her, and then
Yeah.
run away.
You'd probably pass out. I've been like desensitizing myself to some of that shit. Good
I'm
luck
not
with
saying
that.
during the moment. I'm saying
Okay.
like
All right, fair enough. Fair enough.
Tell our junkies out there.
Stay fly and ring the bell.
Did you forget what you were saying for a second? You like it was a hardcore pause.
No, I don't know. I felt like I had it. I don't know what I'm
Some
gonna be back
drama.
on, man. I wanted to like.
Oh yeah, no, that's important. He hasn't stopped it yet. Say something else real quick. You're getting ready to leave.
Titties.